Commissioner Tron isn't in yet.
Recording's been started.
Oh, okay, great, great. Excellent. Yep, I see that. Hold on. All right,
Excuse
then
me, I
let's
didn't
go
see,
ahead.
I,
Pardon me?
okay. I didn't
Are we
see
ready?
who got introduced or,
I'm sorry, what are you saying?
oh,
Not done. We're just getting ready for the roll call.
okay, good.
Is that you okay? Yeah, yeah. We were just getting the recording going and everything. Welcome to the commission meeting for July. I'm losing track of time for July of 2022, and thank you for coming. Let's begin with the roll call, please.
Chair Deborah Cook,
Present.
Commissioner Guadalupe Gamboa,
Present?
Commissioner Jeff Spey,
Present.
Interim Director Cheryl Strobert,
Present.
Assistant Attorney General Kristen Lamson,
Present.
and for anyone else that's on the line who would like to identify themselves for the record.
Celine Garcia, Customer Service Specialist.
Jerry
Thank you.
Lee, Operations Manager.
Thank you. And it looks like we can begin.
All right, thank you so much. So the next item on our agenda is the meeting minutes for June 23rd. Is there a motion to accept the minutes?
Jeff
so
Space, so
moved.
moved.
Mm-hmm. And a second? Yeah. I think you both actually firsted it, so we'll take. I heard Jeff for the first, and so Commissioner Gamboa, are you okay to be the second?
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. It doesn't matter to me. All right. Is there any discussion of the minutes? All right. Hearing none. All in favor of the minutes, please say aye.
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 Thank you. All right. Case closures. We had a couple of changes submitted, and so could we have those for the record, read for the record, please?
Yes, one case was pulled, Brendan Williams versus Scored.
Mhm.
And there were edits to Callahan, Ryan Callahan versus T.W. Clark Construction. There was just a slight revision to the correctly reflect the allegation for the case. And then also Erica Yost versus PJ Northwest. Again, there was a typo in there, and it was just a clarification of the that the manager did offer to pay for the fuel when the employee wasn't able to come to work. So those were the only ones.
Okay. All right. Is there any discussion of the case closures?
This is Jeff Spey. I have something to say about these. So maybe it's a question. There were a handful of cases that were resulted in settlements, but the settlement agreements were not provided. I started jotting down a few of them, but then I noticed there might have been a handful more. Schultz, Sanchez, Miller, Morrow, and I'm wondering, I know that there's one of our regulations, the WAC says that we have to be given the settlement agreements, but I'm wondering, did I just miss something, or are we doing it a little differently now?
Cheryl, do you want to comment on that?
Yeah, were they pre-finding settlements? Or were
I think
they
they were.
resolved?
Let me look. Hold on a second. That's a good question.
Yeah, I think those were pre-finding.
Let me see.
Trying to find them here too.
Let's see. I've got the closure log here. So you said Schultz.
Schultz versus Gomez Lopez.
And then so is C pre-finding settlement?
Yeah.
It's conciliations.
Oh, they're okay. So that's
Yeah.
okay. So those, okay, I can explain then.
Mhm.
I didn't realize what they were. What those are, I apologize. Those are not, those were agreements that were, what do I want to say? The AG's office negotiated post reasonable cause finding. And so there really is, that's informational, those particular cases, because the AGs resolved those. We did not as an agency. They AGs resolved on our behalf. And so we can't change what they have negotiated. We did give them the authority to do so. So it's informational that those cases close post reasonable cause. Does that help?
Well, the only, and I'm not trying to make it complicated, maybe I'm just trying to
So-
understand, but
Yes,
for example, the Schultz matter, the investigative finding closure recommendation page does reference WAC 16208-104.
okay,
And that set of regulations then in 106 says we do have to see the settlement
Okay.
agreement. So if I'm wrong, help me understand it. I'm just trying to get this.
yes, no, I understand. And perhaps since in this instance, for purposes of clarification, since I can't recall this occurring in the past, this question, why don't we set those aside? Because I believe they've all been resolved anyway, and the terms, most of the terms have been fulfilled. And that way I can look more closely at the language in the memo. And then, we can make a determination about whether we need to do something differently or with regard to these. But I don't think there's any harm in setting these aside, because I don't believe anyone is waiting for these for approval, because there's already been a reasonable cause finding, and we're just sort of affirming what the AG's office did.
Yeah, I think that clarification would be helpful, because
Mhm.
I can see where that question would be coming
Sure.
from, and I actually think I know what you're saying as well. But it might be good for us to get
Yeah.
get some clarification on that and make
Absolutely.
sure we have a pattern so that we're consistent.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So let's pull those for the technical question.
Mhm.
And that seems reasonable to me. Are there any other questions or discussion on the cases?
I don't have any.
All right, then hearing none, all in favor of approving the case closures as recommended, with the proviso that Cheryl is going to do some research and come back to us with a more solid explanation regarding the cases that have the settlement findings that went to the AG's office. So all in favor of that, please say aye.
I
And any opposed?
I would
Oh, okay.
oppose only because, and maybe I'm just overcomplicating it. Are we
Yeah.
saying settled cases are not going to be approved pending resolution of this question? Or are we approving them?
No, they're
as-
approved. They are already taken care of. They've already actually received their agreement, their stuff, because
Yeah.
it was handled by the AG's office. So what Cheryl's point here is, as I understand it, is that for her to go back and get a little bit more clarification on and make sure that it was correct, that we would not have seen those agreements, and report that back to us, won't impact the cases, because they've actually already been settled. Because they were settled by the AG's office.
Yes, these are only the cases that have the C next to them, conciliation, not
Right.
any other pre-finding settlements or resolutions. These
Right.
are actually post-finding settlements.
Okay, all right. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, so it doesn't hurt the cases for us to stop and get this little bit of clarification for ourselves.
Okay, all right. In
That-
that case, with that explanation, I vote in favor of accepting.
Okay, great. Yeah, glad to get that clarification, because I don't think the intent here was to hold up anything anywhere. The intent was to make sure that we're reviewing everything we should be reviewing. But actually, we're after the fact on these, is what we believe. So let's just make sure that's the case. And all right, so we have a favorable vote for that. So Cheryl will ask you to kind of report out to us next month on that and get clarification,
Absolutely.
so that we're really clear. And we probably need to review the different categories of cases at some point. We have newer commissioners, and you know, we haven't done the level of training, frankly, about all this that we used to sort of do. So that might be what we have to think about as well. All right. All right. So then let's move right along into the executive director reporting. Cheryl?
Yes, thank you. Let's see here. So I've been attending the usual meetings. It seems like this, as we had discussed earlier, the months are rolling around pretty quickly. And so I've attended the deputy director's meeting. There was some discussion about, additional vaccination requirements and so on. So the governor's office, in conjunction with the executive cabinet, of, kind of figuring what next steps are with regard to some of those issues. Also, there was a fair employment practice meeting with EEOC. And so, attended that meeting. Jerry also attended with me to get some good information about EEOC and their new computer system and their new system called ARC of case management. And, so we were grateful to get that information. Our EEOC contract, we have 2 additional months after this in order to complete the 324 cases that we're contracted to complete. And as of today, it looks like we're going to need about 65 more cases in order to complete our contract. So that's what, 30 something per month for the next 2 months. And I'll be sending something out to staff to let them know, that, so that we can be successful. A lot of time within the past couple of weeks have been devoted to our HUD contract. I previously mentioned at the end of June that case closure piece ended. And so the HUD team did a great job. Actually, there were 153 cases closed during this fiscal year. And so now we're in the process of preparing the reports that are required by them, going over, how we did during this past year. And so one of them is due tomorrow, the narrative report, and then the more detailed report is due next week. And so we're working to get all that information together. Once we submit that, then the HUD folks will be meeting with us and with staff to just talk about, how we did, what we need to do better, all of that kind of thing. And I will share that information with you once the whole thing is complete. And that should probably be at the end of August, beginning of September. Attached to your packet today was also the results of the audit report that was conducted by the state auditor's office. And, we talked about that before. There was one issue involving timesheets that we've worked on. And so, that was the only thing identified, but you can take your time and review what the audit report there. But other than that, that it's been just busy with different reporting requirements for different things. So unless anybody has questions. Oh, one other thing I do want to say, I did meet with Commissioner Tron, and it was a great meeting. We had a good opportunity to chat about, the work that we do and all that kind of thing. And so, yeah, we're
Excellent.
hoping to do so in the future as well.
Yeah, I appreciate you making the time to meet with me. Thank you very much.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, yeah. We have such a challenging situation because everything, it's good that everything in our work is public, but it makes it very, very difficult to spend just time with the commissioners, and sort of time that we used to sort of be able to do a little bit easier when we had more in-person meetings, because we had the evenings to sort of just get to know each other and learn each other's world. And I think that that's something that in our kind of new environment we're sort of missing, and we need to think about. So thank you for
Absolutely.
following that up. Yeah, yeah.
I would love
And-
to meet with each of you individually, just so we don't end up violating any quorum rules, just to get to know each of you.
Yeah, and I'm not even sure if we can do that. That's something we need probably clarification from our AG about. But we do need to figure out, as we're having new commissioners, we do need to figure out how to add people to us, because you know, there's absolute value in that. So I'll figure out what we can do and have a conversation with our AG and Cheryl about that.
I have a question.
Yes.
Are we still short one commissioner?
I'm about to talk about that.
Uh-huh.
So let me just add that to the end of Cheryl's
Okay.
report. We are actually short a commissioner, but not for the reasons you probably think. So we're supposed to have 5, and we have 4 present today. Commissioner Moore's appointment expired in June. Actually, I knew this, and because of all the transition with Cheryl and Sharon and some other things kind of going on, he had a shorter appointment, and I really lost a little bit of track of that. So when someone commented at the last commission meeting that, you know, there was concern, understandably, about the fact that he's not been here much before the time even of his appointment
Right.
expiration. So this is really technically the first meeting past that. So but anyway, that he had not been here, and there was, you know, concern about what do we do about that. So we actually realized that, yeah, we do need to. And so Cheryl looked into all that, and we have attempted, or the office has attempted on a regular basis, of course, to contact him both about the meetings, but then also about his appointment now, since it has technically expired, and he would need to reapply if he does want to continue. And we would also have to have a conversation about what that looks like, since he's not been here lately. So anyway, he has not responded to any of these inquiries. So he has not responded regarding the meetings. He's not responded regarding you know, the reappointment issue. And so I have determined that based on that, we need to move forward and assume that he is not interested or able to accept a reappointment for whatever reasons. And so this then does create an official vacancy on the commission board. So Cheryl will be notifying the boards and commissions office that this is our recommendation. I mean, it's not really so much about a recommendation. If his term is expired and he does not reapply, they will not be doing anything with that. So basically that does in fact leave us again with a vacancy, but for a very tiny brief period. I thought we didn't have one. So I was wrong. So again, so that is the answer to that. So we will be asking them to assist us in locating an additional person. At that point, when we really do have 3 new commissioners, newer commissioners, you know, that we've never actually done something with in person or had some time, you know, in terms of the process of getting to know each other. You know, I'm going to really try hard to find a way for us to do that, because I'm really concerned that this is difficult. So keep that in mind. And I don't know what that needs to look like. And, you know, there are all the other factors involved that we've dealt with all along, but we need to think about what can we actually do. So in the meantime, you know, I feel like we need some to set up some training orientation or whatever. And so we need to figure these things out, and we just haven't done a good job with this in our remote environment. So I'm keenly aware of that. And I keep thinking maybe our remote environment will, you know, abate, but it doesn't. So, but that's the short and long answer to the how are we doing on our commission recruitment time? So we will be looking presumably for an additional person again.
Okay, thank you.
All right. I would like now to move to the, or any additional questions for Cheryl for her report before we move on? Okay, I would like to now talk about the executive director recruitment updates. I'm hoping we can do this without having an executive session today. If there is a need to have one, we have it on the agenda and we'll do it. But I think we can do this without that. So we have a pending candidate whom we had been planning to have an interview with next week on the 2nd, and that has had to be canceled due to conflicts. So that needs to be rescheduled. We will need to work on that. We also received 3 additional applications. And I believe that our applications do close actually at the end of this week, tomorrow. So is that correct?
It's actually closed. It's closed
It's
now.
closed. It's closed now. Okay, so I'm going to recommend that at least at this time that we not reopen the application. It just makes it complicated for us every time we do this. What I would like to hear from commissioners is whether they would like to interview any or all of the 3 candidates that we received. I don't think, my view of this is that if anyone wants to interview anyone, that we will do it, that we will not try to vote on whether to interview them. That, you know, it takes an hour. It's a time taker for us to do them, but I do want to be absolutely fair. I don't want to overlook any good possibilities. And so if someone feels that we might have one, I want to just respect that and finish that process. So the first question that I have for commissioners is whether they would like to interview any or all of the 3. And if you would like to interview some of them, if you just indicate the last name of the ones that you are interested to interview, or say all is fine, or none. But whatever the commissioners would like to do is, I'm very open about.
Yes, this is Commissioner Gamboa. I would like
Yes.
to interview Gonzalez and Williams.
Okay. Alrighty. Okay. Anyone else want to weigh in on interviewing any of the people?
There were 3 applicants, right?
There are 3, yes. Mm-hmm.
I feel like interviewing all 3 would be fair to give them all a chance, but I also don't know these people aside from reading their resume.
Sure. Well, we've had other candidates that we have not interviewed, and what we have kind of said is that one of our primary motivators for interviewing people is whether they potentially have enforcement in their background, because this is an enforcement agency. So as you consider the 3, then I would consider that piece. But otherwise, whether we interview 2 of them or whether we interview all 3 is not, particularly an issue to me, since we're at the end of, but we have interviewed and not interviewed kind of based on that.
So then the 3 candidates that we have resumes for, they all have some form of enforcement background.
If you believe they do, then you would want us to interview all 3 of them. Yes.
Okay.
But we do not assume that from what we're sent, because basically we're receiving all the applications. So if your background was something completely unrelated, sales in a department store, we would still receive your application.
Mhm.
Yeah.
This is Jeff Spade. Just to throw a wrench into things, I
Yes.
actually would move that we interview none of these folks.
Okay.
But I
Then
understand the counter arguments, and so
Mhm.
we've got somebody on each point of the spectrum. So how do we go about?
Yeah.
Is it just that because one person has requested the
No,
interview?
I think we may have to go into an executive session to talk about it, because we do need to have, some some consensus, and we particularly need to have it between you and Commissioner Gamboa, because you've been the two who have been engaged all of the time. My person, or we can decide that I weigh in and tell you what I think, but you know, that is also
Mhm.
a possibility. So I'm not sure the best way to proceed at this stage. If you guys would like to have discussion, if you all would like to have discussion, then we would need to do that in executive session, because then we're going to talk about the people.
Yeah,
Um,
I would, without getting into details,
Mhm.
I did review the resumes of both
Mhm.
Gonzalez and Williams and the other person, and
Mhm.
both Gonzalez has direct experience, and I believe Marvin Williams also has direct experience in enforcement and in the law. And the
Okay.
other person does not have experience in either the law.
Sure. Okay. All right. So I think we're going to have to do an executive session to finish this part of the discussion, because we definitely have some disparity here and we need to try to work it out. So let's finish the rest of our agenda and I think we can do a brief executive session.
Yeah,
Do we have,
I don't have
yes?
I don't have much time today because I'm in the middle of a project, but I
Okay,
could do
well,
like a 15-minute.
that's all we
That's it.
need. I think that's all we
Okay.
need. Let's just move forward and then do that, because I just don't want to have, as part of a public meeting, conversation about the
Right.
individuals. So I think we can talk about it pretty fast. I hope. And ultimately, yes, if we can't come to a conclusion, then I think we're going to have to do some interviews. Okay. Do we have any commissioner reporting for today? Okay. Yes. Okay. Anyone have anything for us?
This is
All
Jeff
right.
Spade. I
Yes.
don't necessarily have commissioner reporting, but I did
Mhm.
get, and as did all the commissioners, received an
Mhm.
email from a gentleman named Leif Kershoff with
Mhm.
comments and complaints about the agency, and I
Sure.
suspect that was not sent to the right place. So I wanted to make sure that we're not running afoul anything by letting that die on the vine.
Well, yeah, basically what we usually do is respond to that. And I usually do it, and we respond as to where they need to go or what the process they need to follow is with their concerns. So we will take care of doing that.
Okay, thank you. I don't have
Sure.
anything.
Yeah, thank you for raising that, and we will. Yeah, essentially we cannot engage in individual case discussions of any kind. And so unless they're in a reconsideration place. And so we can just describe that process and send a response. All right. Do we have any update from the AG's office?
Good morning. Yes, just very quickly, this is Kristen Lamson, and I do have a quick update from Colleen Melody in our Civil Rights Division. The Olympus Spa case has been fully briefed since the end of June, and right now the Western District of Washington judge didn't schedule an oral argument, so they're expecting a decision anytime now, and it'll be decided on the papers. So they have submitted a motion to dismiss in that case. So hopefully we'll have some updates for you at a future meeting on that.
Okay. All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you very much. Any questions for our attorney? Okay. Do we have any public comment today? Okay. Hearing none, then I would like for us to go into executive session. I would like for us to stay here to do that, because we didn't set up a separate place to go, and I always have trouble doing it. So that's probably good. We're going to try to keep this very brief. Whoops, just a moment. You'd think by now I'd have memorized our little executive session stuff, but I have not, apparently.
Would you like some
So
help in that?
I've got it. Nope, I have
Okay.
it right here. I just realized that I was going to have to grab it. So the commission is going to move into executive session to evaluate the is going to move into executive session to discuss and evaluate the qualifications of candidates for the position of executive director. And having trouble. Why is that? Okay. So to discuss the applicants that we have received, and this is pursuant to RCW 42-30-110-1G. We anticipate the executive session is going to last about 10 minutes, and we will resume our public meeting at approximately 10:10. And so that's our plan. And I don't anticipate it under any conditions that will be extended beyond that. So we thank you all, and we will ask everyone who is not necessary to the executive session, which in this case I think is just going to be the commissioners, to leave the meeting, and you may return and at 10:10 when we will begin recording again and report the outcome.